Hi, this is Kelly. I am a member of the Get Organized Challenge from Totally-Tiffany, and she is doing a organizing challenge thing on Facebook. You can join us there. It's Totally-Tiffany Get Organized Challenge. We were posting photos because this week was all about getting organized with your tools, which was stamps and stencils and punches and whatnots. This is like maybe my third or fourth time taking that challenge. You're never going to finish that all at once. But we posted photos on the page, and one of the girls had asked me what I did, if I had a template. I said, sure, here's my template. Okay, so I gave them a copy of my template, but some of the girls have never used a fuse tool before, or Heidi swap one, or a soldering gun to weld two pieces of plastic together. I have a little bit of experience with this tool because I think it was a couple years ago we were all doing that waterfall pages where we would just take one page and you'd buy the separate pages. You could put all the waterfalls on there and put photos in it, and that's where I got introduced to the fuse tool. And I accidentally had one of my pages rip out in a corner, and I pulled out my fuse tool and realized, oh my God, this is the best thing for fusing together. So we got out the HOLTZ stencils that have been sitting in a little teeny clip in a corner of collecting dust on one of my shelves. And I decided to put these in here, and I really love it. You know, the Totally-Tiffany system, she uses that shut your flap. I love that. It sounds so funny. I want to just tell my husband that, like, shut your flap, or my son, shut your flap. But no, really, she has shut your flap little tapes. I put washi tape on mine. You can pull these in and out real simple, real easily. This one here. When I did mine, I kept these little folder pieces so I could see what sets they are. Sorry, the light is hitting on that. That's not what it was my intention. But and then here on this bottom one, it's a really long one. They're double-sided. And so I kept all the original UPCs because if anybody's using electronic software to keep their inventory, you can scan the barcode. Plus, you have a good picture of what set goes together. You can just pull it out and you can use it, clean it off, sanitize it, and put it back in your folder. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to get started in using this template. Okay, we're back again. So getting started, you're going to need the SP40 pages from Totally-Tiffany. I can flip it over here for you. These are the loose pages. This is the SP40. Yeah, you can see them. You can buy them at Totally-Tiffany.com. You can get them at scrapbook.com, I believe, has them. That's generally where I buy most of mine because the shipping's a little bit faster. But you're going to need this. They're called the Super Size Single Basic Storage Pages. They come in packs of 10, or you can get them in 50. I believe at Totally-Tiffany.com right now, she does have them on sale because this is part of our lesson for the Get Organized Challenge this week. And it's doing everything with our tools, like I've already said. So to get started, you're going to need those. You're going to need the pages, of course, you know. We've already pointed that out. You're going to need a fuse tool. Mine's not plugged in. That's the only reason I'm touching it. You can use a Heidi swap one, your memory keeper. You can even use a soldering gun if you have one that has a small tip on it that will just fuse two pieces of plastic together. But you got to make sure you're going to have to test it out. Don't put it on too high a setting, not too low a setting. So that's going to be plugged in here in a little bit when we get started. You're going to need this punch. This is called the threader punch. It's really an important tool because the problem is, and my husband wanted to really want me to stress this to everybody, when you're opening your flaps on here and you're opening and closing them, you need these little holes here so that you don't pull them apart or rip them. These pages are about $1 a piece, okay? So you really need to punch these holes in the side. Those holes are going to go in exactly. You're going to measure 1/8 of an inch in, and you're going to go to the center of it. So it's going to be about 1/16 of an inch in, and then the same thing from the top. You're going to come down 1/8 of an inch. You're going to go to the center of that, which will be 1/16 of an inch. We'll go through all those measurements, but this is an important tool, or any punch tool you have, as long as it's about 1/4 of an inch, 3/16, because you need to be able to get your stuff in and out to slide it. Okay. Then you're going to need some sort of cutting tool. I'm using the Slice. It's a ceramic blade. You can buy it at Amazon. That's where I purchased mine. They come like this. They're the cutest little things, and they feel so nice in your hand. And it's safer than metal, and I'm telling you, I could cut myself. I'd find a way to cut myself with this, but you don't cut yourself with this. It's really safe. So yeah, I recommend this. Is what I'm using. So we got that out of the way. The next tool you're going to need is it's called a Pilot Friction pen. You can use any heat-sensitive pen you have to erase it when heat hits it. These are the Frixion Ball color sticks. You can buy those on Amazon as well. That's where I buy everything. I'm an Amazon junkie. My favorite color from that is this. But they come in packs of 10s. You get them in 5s. I got the 42 one. I don't like them. You don't get to pick the colors. So this is my favorite pen. Comes off real easily. You're going to need your rulers or any metal edge you have. If you're using a soldering gun, you don't need to go out and buy something if you already have some of this stuff. Any metal edge ruler will work. I'm not using this one because I was using it for something else, but you can even use this if you have a plain metal ruler. I was working on some... Oh, I know. I took a thread stand and turned it into what was it? Oh, acrylic paint holder. It was my thread stand for my threads, but I took all these pegs out and turned it into that. But anyways, that's all beside the point. Okay, and then when you buy the fuse tool, you get this little one, which is awesome. Because when you're making these little pockets right here, you can just line it right up on the lines you marked and just go, whoop, done. Same thing here, okay? So you need a metal tool. All right? So, of course, you're going to need a spinder and your Tim stencils. I'm just so excited about this. I love this template. It's one of my favorite because I love the colors. It's just so Timmy. I call Tim Holtz my Timmy everything. My Timmy tools, my Timmy stencils. Okay. So also, if you're on our Get Organized Challenge, you'll have a copy of this template. I posted it on there anyways, but I will put one on Facebook. And I can put another one on this YouTube link so you guys will have it. You're going to need these inserts cut out. You can do it afterwards or before. But you're going to need 2 of them at 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. Those are these right here. Oh, let me open that back up. Sorry. Those are these right here. You're going to need 1 insert at 9 1/8 by 3 1/4. Okay? So 1 at 9 1/8 by 3 1/4. That's this long one right here. And then you could stick this on. I just used double-sided tape. The next one is going to be your extra large pockets right here. That one I have at 9 3/16 by 4 9/16. So you have that. All right. Yeah. So now let me go ahead. I store all my stuff in the back of my template. So I have it when I want to use it because, yeah, that's the whole point of the scrap rack. Everything is in one place where you can find it. All right. To make your flaps, you're going to go ahead. This is the 2 7/8 die that I purchased. It comes with 8 dies, and it's off of the Sizzix. I say that wrong. Sizzix 657551. That's the million circle dies that are missing out of here. No, they're not a million. There's 8 of them in there. Pretty nice sizes to work with. You're going to need that. You're going to need some repositional tape. I'm using the yellow frog tape because I'm in the middle of a painting project. So it sticks. It doesn't damage anything. That's how I got that there. I'll show you how to get that on there. You're going to need these little templates that go inside the folder. You need these for cutting. This little piece that I showed you from the die, when this is inside the folder, you're just going to line this up. And you're gonna mark all this, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to line that all up, just like that. Real simple. Easy peasy. Then you're going to take your slice tool, and you're going to cut around it. Then you're going to take your threader punch, and punch it. That's done. Okay? But you need those. This is 9 3/16 wide. Mine is a little bit shorter because I just used what I had on hand. You can make them up to 12.5 inches long. Like this way. This way is 9 3/16, okay? I made this measurement here. I believe that was 3 1/4. Yes, that was 3 1/4. This line is 3 1/4, okay? This will vary. You're going to fold your page in half to get this line here. Because each one of these pages I'm noticing from Totally-Tiffany are not always exactly the same. They're supposed to be 12 3/4 tall by 12 and about 5/8 wide, but for some reason I've got some different measurements going on. I just ordered 100 pages and they're not anything like that. I made this template based on the original ones. I've been collecting these for 2 years. It's an expensive system, so you can't afford to buy it all at once. You got to do a little at a time. Okay, so anyways, and you're going to need a ruler, of course. I forgot to point that out. Repositional frog tape. Okay, so you're going to make that. What I do is I have lots of leftover laminate. So I cut this piece of laminate. It was 9 3/16 wide. And whatever the length measurement is, it doesn't really matter. You don't really need it. You just have to have it wider so you can stick your hand in there and pull it out. Just some scrap laminate pieces for the punch so that you can punch through it. These are my punch templates and my cutting templates for my longer piece. I did these at 3 1/4 by 12 1/2. So I have 2 of them. I always lose these on my desktop for some reason. If they're not in the pouch where they belong, they get lost. So I have those. Here is the one that goes in there. This is 6 and I believe 1/4. Look, we'll get all that figured out when we get ready to do it. It's 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. Yeah, it's 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. But you're not going to go by this template. When you draw these lines and put that fuse tool on there, don't go by this template because sometimes these pages go cocked in there and you're not going to get a straight edge on there and then your stuff's not going to fit right in there. So I'm stressing this, and trust me, I know by experience. You know, like the people that say I have a t-shirt, trust me, I know why. I'm one of those people. But anyways, again, that's going to be the other flap for the second side, okay? So we have our inserts. Again, I'm just going to go over them one more time. I'll post them in the bottom too. 2 inserts at 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. 1 insert at 9 1/8 by 3 1/4. 2 inserts at 4 9/16 by 9 3/16. Again, these pages are just a little bit different, each one of them. So I gave you one set of measurements. I'm giving you another one because the fact is I've had to change them. So you might have to shave a little bit off, okay? So you know what you're working with or dealing with. We're not doing mass production here. I'm probably assuming everybody's probably going to make about 10, maybe 15 of them. These are the inserts that I made. I just went ahead and did the corners with the archival ink. My favorite one is Ground Espresso from Tim Holtz. I kept all these. They were from my stencils. You can cut them down to size and get the same results. These are the 2 small ones. I did some regular dye ink from Tim Holtz too, but I did find out over time, when you start getting them wet, they come back off on your dyes and your fingers. This is a blank one I still have to do. Leftover piece. Oops, we're stuck here on our tape. On the shut your flap. I love that word. That's the best thing I can remember from Totally-Tiffany. Shut your flap. You know you just want to tell everybody that, but it's so not cool. But anyways, okay, so that's the tools we need to get started. You're going to need something to put underneath that thing, the page, wherever I put it on top of my desk. When you get ready to fuse, you want to have something to go underneath it because this fuse tool gets really warm and hot. You will burn your hands if you touch yourself with it, so you need to be careful. I am not in any way responsible if you hurt yourself. I'm just letting you know now. I'm only giving you a tutorial on how to do it. What you do with it is your choice. Totally-Tiffany is in no way responsible for what you do with your pages either. So I'm letting you know ahead of time. Nobody's responsible if you hurt yourself. This is a choice on your own. I'm not profiting from this. I'm only doing this to help some people out. But anyways, beside the point. I could go on. I love to talk. This is kind of like chipboard, but actually what this is, I do sewing for a living, and I keep these and I do my little tiny bolts on them. They're comic pages. I get them from DCW, and they work out good, but I love them in my scrap room because they work for everything. That's what I made all these templates out of. But you're going to need something to put underneath that plastic, otherwise you will burn the surface underneath it and burn a hole through your plastic. I recommend glass, but the problem with the glass is a lot of times it slips. So if you're using the glass, I would still recommend putting a piece of cardboard or chipboard underneath there so that it doesn't, so when you're going up these lines. Again, I want to stress one more time. Don't put this paper in here or even cut it up into pieces and try to expect to get a straight line and fit these in here. It doesn't work. You're going to have to manually go through the measurements I'm going to give you, and I'm going to walk you through that on how to use that fuse tool properly so that these work, because you don't want to waste these. They're $1 a piece, okay? And sometimes even more, depending on where you buy them at. So think smarter, not harder. I don't know. I always think harder, not smarter always, but it goes either way. Anyways, all right, let's get started. All right, we're back. So we're going to show you how to get this set up. so that you can get this template. I'm breaking this video probably up into 2 or 3 parts. I haven't decided. I just know that yesterday I was playing around, and for 7 minutes of video, it takes about 2.5 hours to render it to get it ready to go on YouTube. So it depends on how long it's going to take. Yeah. So let's get this part started. All right. So in order to get this template set up, I'm going to walk you through how to get these measurements on each one of these items here, okay? So the first one is going to be the side template, which is going to be divided by 2. You need to cut one piece at 3 1/4 wide by up to 12.5 inches tall. Mine is exactly 3 1/4 by 11 7/8. And we're going to be going up to get this line here, 6 1/4. We're going to come back down 1/8. Then we're going to mark a line on the inside of each piece of this 1/8 of an inch. Then we're going to draw this half cut circle. That's where you're going to be cutting. And then we're going to be putting a piece of tape over the top of that just in case you don't have laminate. That's fine if you don't want to ruin your cardboard in there, because you'll be cutting out about 10 of them, I am assuming. Unless you have a lot more than me. I don't have that many. But anyways, beside the point. You're going to go ahead and draw all this and get it ready to go. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And it's going to be the same thing with this. This is 9 3/16 wide. Like I said, this may vary a little bit because of the page sizes of Tiffany's pages. I have older ones from 2 years ago and newer ones from now. They're not the same sizes. This one is going to be 9 3/16 inch wide. We're going to be going up 3 1/4 and drawing the line for the bottom. And then once we get that established in there, we're going to go ahead and come down 1/8 of an inch. In 1/8 of an inch, in 1/8 of an inch. We're going to put our template on there and draw that ready to go. And put a piece of tape on there. Even though I use my laminate, I still put tape on there because I just don't want to have to do this over and over again. I'm doing this for the tutorial, so now I'll have 2. You can use any pen you want because, like I said, you're not going to be using that fuse tool on top of this. Okay? So let's get started with that. Don't mind my chicken scratch on here. I don't. As long as I can read it, most of the time I can. So on the one piece that's 9 3/16 wide, up to 12.5 inches, we're going to go ahead and mark 3 1/4. This is my quilting ruler. I love these things. They're addicting. I use them on my woodwork. I use them for everything. They're very, very, very accurate. As long as you're using it. Like, see, I just moved it. That was not accurate at all. Sorry. All right. I'm going to go ahead and draw your line on here. And now we're going to turn this. I want to make sure that I'm staying inside the camera. Now we're going to come in 1/8 of an inch. You can go all the way up the page if you need to, if you want more accuracy. That's going to be your 1/8 of an inch. Then you're going to come in 1/8 of an inch. Again, that's going to be for the punch outs, which you need so you don't tear your flaps. You really need to keep that in there. I think Totally-Tiffany went into a lot of work to design these pages for us, and there was a lot of work going into it because I know me just doing this one template was a lot of work. If you're new to using the fuse tool, my suggestion to you, if you're in the middle of doing your scrap rack anyways, you're going to have leftover folder pieces. Like, here's some of my empty ones. These are the Avery file ones. They're dirty. I don't care. But these are really good to practice on the fuse tool with. You just take the cardboard out, lay your fuse tool on there. If you know you're going to be doing 5x7s, just come in here, keep it folded, and come down at 5. I mean, this has nothing to do with this tutorial, but I'm just giving you some advice. Or I'm sorry, go down 7. Mark it with this tool. Or with this pen, I should say, not tool. And then you're going to come across 5. Making sure you're pretty much straight. Then you're going to come back and you're going to measure that straight across. This is just so you know how to use this fuse tool. You're going to get this all lined up in here, which on my ruler is going to be 2 3/4. And you're going to draw a really nice line that you can see. Sometimes these pens don't show up on there if the surface is dirty, and these are old. So I'm pretty much sure they're probably dirty, but you can see that, okay? And you're going to come back over here and draw this line. And this again is 2.5. Draw that line there, okay? This is just some ideas so you know what's going on because I'm showing you how to do all this. You're going to take this. This is going to be a 5x7 pocket. This is going to fit right into the Fantastic Five. Cut your stamps down, get them on this little folder, you know. You're going to take your ruler on that line, fuse. Take your ruler on this line, fuse. Make sure that your flap is out when you do this part. But I'm just kind of giving you a little tip so you can practice using the fuse if you've never used it before. But make sure you have something underneath it. I made a lot of these because I wanted my Tim Holtz stamps to fit into a thing. So I got some plastic, welded them together. Well, then I found these Avery pockets work just fine. Because at that time they didn't have these. So, and then come down this line. Then you're going to go on your cutter and cut that out. And you can take this and just put your little flap in there. And there will be your perfect little 5x7. If you've seen my pictures on there from our page, it shows you my 5x7s in there. But that's just an idea how to use that fuse tool. Not to get sidetracked or put too much information in there for you, but just an idea. Okay? All right. So now we're going to move on to the next step. If you just got one of these and you're just doing it, you're going to have to put this on there yourself, okay? So basically, you're going to line up your circles here and here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, get up closer on the screen. You're going to line up those points. You see where that 1/8 is? And you're going to put that there, okay? Mine just happened to be like this. So you're going to line them up. Put your tape on there, pull it back off, make sure it lines up perfectly. There you go. Okay, you're going to draw that on there with your pen. You're going to hit those points. Okay, that's for reference when that's inside that folder. See? Okay. Then I already have a pre-punched template out. I took this and cut it out. I don't need to show you how to do it, but just in case you want to know, I'll show you real quick. Okay, never mind, because I can't find my ruler. I'll just use this ruler. It doesn't matter what you have underneath these punches or anything, so you don't burn it or run through it, but you got to go down a couple of times. Voila. Okay, did mess up my ruler a little bit, but it still did its job, okay? So that's how you're going to get your pre-circle, all right? I, a lot of times, will take a different color and come in here and find the center of that and do a circle. And come back into the center of this and do a circle. You want to have those for those resources because you really need to punch out them holes for those flaps so they don't tear the pages, okay? So there you're going to have that, okay? That's your first template. These are going to be for 3 1/4 by 9, I believe 9 1/8 is what my inserts were. Okay, that's going to be your insert for that one. You could put other things in here too. You could find different uses for these. All right. Now on this, you're going to fold your paper in half, and I'm going to show you how to do that later on. And then you're going to come back and mark this. You're not going to go by really this anyways. It's just going to give you a middle point. Like I said, those pages vary in size. So before you do any of that, you want to make sure before you put anything in those folders that you always round the corners because these sharp edges will tear those pages. So you have to be careful with this one because you don't want to mess up your template. So before you put anything in those folders, you always want to make sure those corners are rounded. All right. The next one we're going to do is this one here. It's 6 1/4 by 3 1/4 is the opening for those flaps. Okay. On this, we're going to go up 6 1/4. This is cut out at 3 1/4 wide. I believe this is the right size. Yes, it is. I had to double check. Okay, it's 3 1/4 inches wide by up to 12 1/2 inches tall. You don't want to go more than that because you won't be able to close it inside your template pocket, okay? So that one we're going to go up 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. That's going to give you the first pocket for your stencils, okay? Then you're going to come back down again, 1/8 of an inch. Okay, then you're going to measure up your flap circle piece again. Oh, sorry. Before I do that, I got to put my 1/8 of an inch marks in there for my punch hole. Okay. All right, try that again. There we go. So you see the lines on there. I'm going to go up close again. See if we can get that in camera. You see those little lines right there? Those are 1/8 of an inch in, 1/8 of an inch down. This is 6 1/4 up. Sorry, I'm off camera, guys. This is, I'm not a professional video maker here, so we're just having fun. Yeah. If you have questions or you need screenshots, I can always take them. But you want to line those up on those 2 points and that line that you just made with the tape. And again, make your template. All right, so that's done. That's why you want to use that repositional tape. All right, so back to making your punch holes again. Just line it up in the center there. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. I really had a hard time setting up the camera to make this. I'm telling you, my husband was laughing, but it's not funny. It's frustrating. These videos that people make, I really learned to appreciate them a lot more once I made one. It made you almost want to go drink, which I don't drink. It made you want to go nuts. Okay, this is 6 1/4 long by 3 1/4 inch tall. Okay, your inserts for this one is 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. Trust me, it'll fit. Okay. Now, the part I didn't cover on that other piece either, which we'll come back to, this is heavy-duty shipping tape. This is awesome. Take a little bit and cover up where you're going to be cutting. See, we're going to be cutting right there. This works out really, really good. You know, just get it on there. Works out really awesome. So you can cut over that, and when it starts getting worn out, you can just go back and cut over it again. Okay, and again, we're going to go ahead and punch out these round parts. Once we get started with the fuse tool, you'll really understand what these templates are for. And you know, it is YouTube. It's just like Craftsy and everything else. You can always go back and watch the video again. Okay, so we got those out of the way. If you want to make this here, these are extra pieces for the templates. I just cut them out of laminate. Again, I'll give you those measurements one more time. Maybe I'm too in-depth in this video, but it's one of my first tutorials, so you have to excuse me. These templates, I slide over the top of those when I'm cutting. These are new ones I made just for this video. Normally, I don't have them. But anyways, those are 3 1/4 by 12 1/2. I made 2 of those. And this is to cover the other one. Again, that is 9 3/16 from the bottom wide up to 12 1/2 inches tall with your laminate. And of course, we've already talked about the inserts. This video, like I said, will probably be broken up in parts. You can fast forward. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. I don't get insulted. You know, somebody told me one day, if somebody gives you a thumb down, it gives you controversial. It's better. But anyways, so that's how you make that part for that. The next part of this tutorial is going to be going with the fuse tool on this plastic and how to get the measurements done and how to use the fuse tool. All right, see you in a bit. Time to make the donuts. It's just a little joke. You know, like Dunkin' Donuts, those old commercial from back in the day. Shows you my age. Anyways, time to get our scrap rack groove template making on, as you say. Okay, so back to making this. I'm just being silly. It's been a long day making these videos for you guys. I'm going to walk you through how to use a fuse tool. What I normally do is I go ahead and get the fuse tool turned on now, because there's no sense of leaving it on when you're not using it. And it doesn't take that long to heat up. So, the first step we're going to do is we're going to measure up 3 3/8 from the bottom of the page up. Okay? So, 3 3/8. Just going to mark it here. Maybe here, and about there. You don't really need it over there, okay? Open up your flap so you know that you don't get it stuck in there when we get ready to fuse. And again, we're going to mark 3 3/8 from the edge. You know, I'm talking about the edge, this very edge, okay? Where they had it fused together. The outside of the page. You're going to go in on the right-hand side, 3 3/8. Okay? Now remember, I told you when you're going to get this center mark for the extra large one, you're going to fold this in half. So you have this 3 3/8 inch line here. You're going to fold that in half. Okay? Can you see this? I hope you guys can see this. Let me put something underneath here. Okay? This is your 3 3/8 inch mark from the right side of the page. You're going to take the left side of the page where the punches are. Bring that over and line it up so it's square right on that 3 3/8 inch line. And just gently fold the line there, okay? I hope you can see this on the camera, but there's a line right there, okay? You're going to take your ruler, make sure it's straight. What I do is this, because that flap kind of turns everything around a little bit. Bring it in here. That's where you're going to do your fuse tool, okay? Get this squared on the bottom with your ruler. And you're going to mark this. That's where your center mark is going to be when you fuse it together. Do not fuse that till you're done. You won't be able to put your templates in there for making your flaps. Okay, this is what I learned because these pages are not always exactly the same, okay? Like I said, originally they were 12 3/4 long this way. Now they're between 12 1/2 and 12 5/8, okay? Depending which vendor you get them from. So my suggestion on this, so you know that those stencils are going to fit in there properly, is fold that also in half and make a line. Just a light line there. See that line? I hope you guys can see that line. See it? This should be 6 1/4. Well, let's see. I'm just going to put a dot there and a dot there. From the bottom, my original template was 6 3/8. Don't want to get my head in there. It's a hair shy maybe of 6 3/8. You want to be accurate, so you want to get some sort of line reference on there if you can. This is an important line. And not always is it going to be straight from the edges, okay? So you need to make sure it's square. This is going to be an important line, so you do need to mark this accurately. There's my dots. It looks square in the bottom, looks square in the side. You need to dash mark this, okay? This is where you're going to fuse it together. So these are going to be equally distributed the same. Don't be scared to cut your stencil just 1/16 or 1/32 of an inch off because it still functions. It doesn't hurt the tool. You know, stencils are a tool. Everything's a tool. These are all the lines we're going to be fusing on, okay? But before you can fuse, the first step you're going to do is this. You have your first mark, which is the first step. From the right-hand side of the page in is 6 3/8. Okay? This is where it's time for the fuse tool. Pull your flap out of the way. Make sure you have something underneath this so it works properly. I've had my fuse tool plugged in now for about 3 minutes. So we should get a good, nice, accurate fuse here. Alright, you're going to hold it on that line. You're going to get out your fuse tool. It's hot, don't touch it. And you're going to slowly roll it across where you want that template line to be. What I do is I go up and then I come down because sometimes you get buckling in there. You want to put just enough pressure on there to put those two pieces together. Okay? And then come all the way down. Alright? There's your first one. Alright? Those should be fused together. They feel like they're fused together. Now, you're going to get out your templates that I was showing you. All your cool little templates now come into play. Okay? You're going to put this in your pocket. Get that out of the way. You see this reference line here? It's going to go on that reference line there. You put this in there. Don't force it. But you see how nice that slides in there? Line that line up. You see that? Those lines are now lined up. I hope you can see that on the camera. Do you see that? Okay. Now, if you watch the other part of the video, we're going to put this on there. Okay, you remember your dots. You're going to line them up. You're going to line them up on your template line. Make sure they're straight on the other line. Hope I'm explaining this good enough. I'll show you one more time. See? Let me turn it sideways. See how it's all lined up? Sorry for the light. There you go. They're all lined up. Okay? Now, what I personally do is that's where my templates come in that I already did. I don't want to ruin those cardboard ones. I don't want to make them again. I know we always have scraps sitting around, but this was scrap laminate too, so it doesn't really matter to me. Okay. You're going to slide your laminate in there. Don't force it in either. But you see, the more stuff you get in those pockets, the harder it is. And you don't want to rip that out, all right? You're going to take your ceramic knife, and you're going to take it. Make sure if you get this one that green point is up. There's a green point on there. See that? I don't know if it's not focusing. There we go. And just roll it along that line. If it's not perfect, it's okay. Life is not always perfect. Sometimes you got to go 2 or 3 passes. You'll know when you get to the laminate because you'll feel it on your blade. Okay? That's done. Now, if you're anxious or you've done just so many of them and you're sick and tired of doing it step by step, before you go to the next step, take your new template that you made, shove it in the hole. Don't force it. Try to get that one over as far as you can go. Okay? See that? Take your plastic template if you have one, or your laminate template if you have one, and put it in there. Put it over the top of it. I didn't put tape on that one. I forgot to. So, yeah. Lightly put that in there. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to the next one. Same procedure. Line it up in the straight line, stick it down. Get out your slice tool. And a slice and we will go. It's really cool. I've used a lot of knives. I've even used Timmy tools, you know, Tim Holtz tools. If you watch my videos, I call everything from Tim Holtz Timmy tools. Alright, so that should be good. My flap should be there. See? There it is. Alright. Now we're good to go. Now, the next step is going to be making your punch holes. You're going to take your threader. I have my templates in there already. You're going to line it up on that line, that little circle you made. Go down about 2 times. Should bring out the thing. It did. And I'll show you on the video close up in just a second. Okay. Alright. So on the video you can see this flap. It's open. You have your punch holes there, so you don't get it all messed up, alright? Let's go back to this one. Same procedure. Alright, done. That's simple. It took longer to make this video to explain it to you than it did even make these. This is exciting, right? Okay, take this all back out. You're done. Put them back in the pocket so you know where they are. My mom used to say, put it in your pocket, don't let nobody hawk it. Alright, there you go. So those are ready to go. So, you're going to want to just take any piece of cardboard. Doesn't matter, because now we're going to use the fuse tool again. Alright. This is where the little one comes in handy. You already have a line there. You can see it. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but let's go close up on the camera. There should be a line, the one that you marked, that I had you mark. See that in there? It's right between those lines. Alright? That's where you're going to be fusing. So make sure it's all lined up straight. Make sure you put something under your plastic, so you're not melting the plastic too much. Get out your fuse tool. Now, from my own mistakes I've made, don't come over here on the edge and go across. You'll burn that and it will split. Lightly go over it the first time and come back lightly the second time. There you go. One pocket done. See that? Can you see it? So, as I said, you can see it now. Now we're going to go ahead and get the rest of it fused together. at this point here, you need to make sure that you don't go past that line right there, because otherwise you can't fit anything in that pocket. Straighten this out and smooth. Make sure you have something underneath it again when you fuse. Line that up on the line for fusing. You should be kind of precise on that if you can. Straighten that back out. Get out your fuse tool. What I like to do is I just come in a little and then come down to the middle, because it can buckle. If it buckles, it won't fuse properly. And then just go across the whole thing one more time. And last but not least, the extra large pocket. Line that back up again. Make sure your flap is open. You don't want to close that up with your fuse tool. This may buckle a little bit too. Kind of straighten it out if you can. I like to come down a little bit. Make sure you don't go over that other line again. Come down. And one more time. Now, these marks do come off right here. I don't know if you can see them on there. Let me show you here. You have these little pink spots on there. I live with them. I don't care. Okay, but you can take a baby wipe and wipe them off if it bothers you. It really doesn't matter. Again, it serves its purpose. The whole point is this is a DIY template. Okay, so now you can take your little inserts that I had you make. These are the original ones from Tim Holtz. I didn't throw those away. Okay, they have lettering on the back of them, so if you don't like to see that, you can just cover it up there with the decorated one. Don't just force these in there. Make sure you try to get to those pocket hole areas. See? There you go. They go right in. Now, if something happens and you go to put your stencil in there and it doesn't fit exactly, you can cut your stencil off a little bit. 1/60 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. It's not going to change the performance of Timmy's stencils, okay? Trust me. I don't like cutting up things. I like to keep them the way they are. But the point is, you want to get this on the rack so you can see it, so you can use it. All right. And our big cutouts. Now, see that flap there is a big one. Can access all of them at once. Simple. Easy peasy. Now you can put shut your flaps on there from Totally-Tiffany, or I like the washi tape from Tim Holtz. So I just take a piece off, fold it in so I have a pull tab, and flap it on there. Don't have to pay no money. I already have the washi tape. Same thing with this flap there if you want to do that. Okay, and then your last one, which will go right there. I make a bunch of these at once, and then so my husband doesn't feel neglected, I go in there and watch TV with him, and my dog helps me distress these and make them all pretty with my Tim Holtz ink. It gives me something to do and family time together. Don't force these in there. Just be gentle. There you go. If you find that it's a little bit tight, that's probably because you probably have to shave a little bit off of it. It might be that the cutout was too tight. And try a different one. Or you may have it that that hole cutout may not be big enough like mine is. So what I do is I just find a piece of laminate somewhere around here. I always have some sitting around here. Just stick a little piece of laminate in there or something that it can't go through when you punch it. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. See? Stick it in where that punch out. That punch out didn't come out okay. So I just had to punch again. And you can use this to fix any of them. If you get one of the Totally-Tiffany pages that are messed up because of that, just go back in there with a punch. Just make sure it's punched out so you don't rip the page. See? Now it's open again. Or you can take a scissors and cut it, or take whatever you need as a tool. I take the Tim Holtz mini sets of 3, and I put the little thing there with the UPC code in there so that I can scan it in with my Sortly program, which is linked to Evernote. Okay, so there's that. Now we're done. If you stay tuned for a little bit extra on the end, I'm going to show you how to fuse together your sleeves for your stamps. Alright, thanks for watching. If you're not going to stay tuned or stay on for the rest of the video. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, well, that's okay too. There's always controversial. And there's something you didn't like, make a note on the bottom. Or something you'd like to see. Hey, thanks for staying tuned. Thanks for watching my video, and thanks for staying in tune for these extra little tips. In the Get Organized Challenge, you know we need to move our stamps to the sleeves and everything else. They have a Fab 5, which is 5 by 7, so you can go ahead and instead of throwing all these away like I mentioned earlier of our Avery files, mine are dirty because they're old. Like, you know, they've been in there for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You can reuse them. Go ahead and just cut in, like I showed you earlier, 5 by 7. Then you're going to take your fuse tool and you're going to go right on that edge there. I know you're probably not going to see it on the camera, but there's like maybe a 1/16 of an inch lip here. You're going to take your fuse tool and you're just going to roll across that and fuse it together. Okay? That's the bottom piece. And then you're going to go along your edge. Do make sure you're putting something underneath there. If you go straight on glass, it slips. I found that out, so I'm just giving you an extra tip. You can see the line there. If you need to, you can go back and shave it up a little bit when you go in the folder if it don't fit. From my experience on that too, once you get your stamps in these 5 by 7 envelopes, it goes down to about 4 7/16, or it depends. If they're big red stamps, they go down a lot. They can vary. Okay, but there, look at that. You fuse together a folder that you can reuse, repurpose, throw your 5 by 7 things. What I do, I cut out a piece of laminate to fit in there, 5 by 7. You should always cut about 1/8 of an inch less or 1/4 of an inch less to fit it in there. And yeah, there you go. You can stick it right into your Fab 5. All right, for those who are new or haven't ever used Tim Holtz inks before, I like to use laminate. It works really great for inking. So what I do, I mean, these are his new archival inks. This is the color Ground Espresso. It's one of my favorite. So these are really juicy too. I love it. Thanks, Tim, for making these. Another Timmy tool. I like to ink this up real good so I can use it. I put my excess there. Alright, so you're coming off the paper and coming around. Just inking away. Just want to get that edge. Come back in, grab some more. Don't waste it. Go off and come onto the paper. If it starts to dry out on you, try to get some more. If there's no more left, then re-ink again. Get it nice and juicy. There you go. Go off the paper and come around. It gives you that nice grunge look. You know, my husband was asking why I'm decorating these, and I'm like, because I want to know which one are my Timmy tools, first of all, because he's my favorite designer. I love grunge. Dirty. Yeah. Dirtier the better. And I want to be able to distinguish the difference between them, be able to use my tools that I have, make them look nice, and, you know, it's kind of like wearing sexy lingerie. You have it underneath your clothes. Nobody knows it's there. It's for yourself. And for me, everything is art. But this is how I did my page inserts. I did use the regular distress ink too. It's right here. And you can splash on it and have all sorts of fun with it. Drop it in water, make it grungy. Remember, for me, and maybe for you guys, I don't know, everybody has different tastes. The dirtier, the grungier, the grossier, the better. I like it to look old. For me, I like that. I stopped using the regular distress ink because I had put one of my molds. I'm thinking of molds now. I was so excited I got new Stamperius molds. They're not like the regular ones we've been seeing that have been made out of silicone. These ones are just for cold base things. I'm getting excited about that because I'm going to make those this week. So that's why I said mold. But anyways, these stencils, when you get them wet and they're not completely dry, which I didn't know I did, I accidentally threw it in the folder and it got it all wet and then it was all over my stencil. I didn't like that. So anyway, so there's that. Hope that helps. It gives you that nice grungy look. If you don't like those lines, you just blend them in a little. You know, make it more exciting. You could throw some water on there, throw some black stuff on there. You can stamp on it to get some stamps out of it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial again. I'll try to get some more stuff up there. If you're really interested in wanting to know more about Totally-Tiffany and how I got inspired, there is a lady out there. Her name is Deborah, and it was called Project Whiplash. One word. I'll put a link in below. She gives really good ideas about how putting them on 10mm laminate paper, which this is. It holds itself up. She talked about that, and she shows you how to go through that in the tutorial. She shows you how to set up the rack so it's not at an exact 45-degree angle like that. She talks about laying it down a little bit. She's got some really great ideas. I do things a little bit different than her. You know, tutorials are only to get you guys in the right direction or to help you out if you're interested and wanting to know more about something. If you like this video, do thumbs up, subscribe. If I get a lot of people who like what I'm doing, then yeah, I'll make some more videos. I mean, it's really time-consuming making videos. I have other things I could do with my time, but somebody asked me to help them. So, once again, this is for the Tim Holtz Stencil Organizer with Totally-Tiffany's pages with my template that I had made. And, you know, see, my pages aren't all full, and I know Tiffany says you should get them all in there. But, you know, I got room to grow. This is one of the favorite ones from a lot of people. But I have room to grow. There's nothing here. I can put another one of those things underneath there. I kind of stopped collecting the minis after 30 because I kind of got bored with them. They all were the same, and there was nothing different. So I kind of stopped at the holidays and music, you know. But maybe I'll come out with some more stuff I like. I mean, everybody's taste is different, and these designers have to get things out there that go to everybody. So, hope you enjoyed this video and you have a great day. And don't forget, if you're interested, join the Get Organized Challenge on Totally-Tiffany on Facebook. It's a great group, gives you some really good ideas. There's different gals on there. I've been doing this for a while. Some of these girls have repeated 7, 8, 9, 10 times. It's really good. I really like it. I like that she takes her time. And I want to thank the Totally-Tiffany team again for taking the time to even get that Get Organized Challenge out there. I just want to keep calling it GOC, a lot easier. All right, hope you enjoy your day. Bye.